Hey there, happy Thursday everyone. Thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners. And I'm here Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time we can relax and craft together, just chill after the day. So thanks again for joining me. We are going to continue to knit the cuff on my mom's sweater that we've cut open and changed into a cardigan. That was a little bit of an adventure. So we are now just extending the cuffs. They're a bit short. They're like maybe up to here. I want to get them more like this cuff, a bit longer here. So that is the plan for tonight. I'm hoping we can actually knit the whole thing and get to the cast off, the bind off tonight, but I think I might make these a little bit longer than I was expecting. So we'll just like speed knit. We'll see how fast we can get this going tonight. So that's the plan. All right, let's zoomy on right in here, you guys. Okay, so this is where we left off. Ooh, that might be too close, huh? Okay, and so we've done the magic loop, which just means that we're not stitching with three-pointed or with double-pointed needles. We are using just just knitting needles with a cable, with a really long cable. Then we can avoid doing the double-pointed needles, which scare me. I mean, they're perfectly fine, but I don't know. I feel like I have a severe phobia to all my stitches coming off the needle. And this lessens that a little bit. So, all right, let's get back to our continental knitting. That seemed to go faster. I'm going to just get a whole pile of yarn going here already. It'd be kind of cool if we went through that yarn. So we cast on, or we picked up stitches, let's say that way. We picked up stitches yesterday, and today I just need to cruise through and get this as long as I want it to. Jenny's asking, will you steek pockets, please? So that is kind of on my brain. So when I tried this on, I immediately knew, okay, I need these cuffs a little bit longer. Like I was immediately trying to pull them down, and then I immediately tried to put my hands in pockets that were non-existent. So I'm very, very tempted to cut into this, like steek it at an angle, like just chop a full-on angle pocket, two pockets into the sides, and do that. But I don't know. I think for now I'll just wear it. I'm just gonna try and get through these two cuffs, and because I want to wear this, and then gosh, I really would like to do that though. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. Figure out how to do that. Now that I know I can just like kind of needle felt the ends, I think that'd be good. Deborah says, loving the red cuffs. Yeah, I am really having fun with these cuffs for sure. I'm going to try and get faster at this little switcheroo, like switching from one needle to the other. I do think that'd be fun. And we'd be doing this steeking again differently than how it's originally intentioned. So with pockets or anything when you're doing steeking, which steeking is oh, you're doing 2 purls, 2 knits. Nice, nice humming. Oh, we're doing basically the same thing right now. Knitting some ribbing. I keep saying ribbon, but ribbing. But yeah, so with steeking, usually you know you're gonna do it beforehand. I think, whereas with the sweater, clearly it was not prepped or designed for steeking, so we would just be like chopping through perfectly beautiful finished cables. But it seemed to work just fine, cutting down the cable in the center. So I don't know, I think it's a doable thing. Gosh, and I don't think it would actually even take that long. I'll have to think about that over the weekend coming up here. I think maybe I should still do that. So next week I will be switching to embroidery, so we'll be stitching the embroidery of the month. But the last week in January will be a free week again, and that week could be open to possibly adding pockets to this. And I'm not quite sure we'll be done with. I'm pretty positive, actually, we won't be done with these cuffs. Although I might just go ahead and finish the cuffs so I can wear the sweater. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, did I make the sweater or did I buy it? Oh, neither. So that was a story from what was it, last week. So I had thought that, oops, I almost just started knitting. I had thought that my mom had knit this sweater, and I just sort of have it. I acquired it. So I thought, oh, she must have knit it like, I don't know, 20 years ago or something, and because I remember her knitting a bunch, and oops, lost that stitch. So yeah, in my head, yep, 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago or something, Mom knit it, and I'm just adapting it, and it fit a little funny, and so I'm just going to adapt it. But then she's texting me in the middle of my live, and it turns out that she did not actually make it. It was a gift in high school. When she was in high school, it was a gift from her ex-boyfriend's mom. So, or maybe a boyfriend, I guess, but from her boyfriend's mom for Christmas. So this is actually, so my mom wore this in high school. She said it was great for ice skating and it was super warm. And so anyway, that's, I learned the real truth of the sweater here. So it's actually her high school boyfriend's mom made it, which I think is awesome. Oh, thanks for the rose, Priscilla. But yeah, so I just thought that was just so funny. I could add just 2 patch pockets. I kind of like the idea, like I don't know, I just like the slit pockets where you can put your whole hand in, and then the inside I would make like a fabric pocket. I don't know, I don't like the idea of like a big pocket on the outside. I kind of think it's sort of minimal still, and it's still all about the cabling and all that, and then just like the little pops of red that I don't think I want like a huge pocket on the front. But anywho, so I don't know. I'll have to look at some different pockets and think about that. But my hand immediately wants to just stick into like a side pocket. And I totally use those pockets on my cardigans, throw my phone in there or whatever when I'm carrying stuff. So I definitely would use it. Jeannie says, steek 2 pockets, that would be fantastic. I would love to learn that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this whole steeking is going, considering I just learned that word like 2 weeks ago. So that was kind of an adventure cutting into the front of this, but because this is 100% wool and it's already, been used and worn, so it's already been kind of felted together a little bit, it just worked out real well. I don't have to finish the edge or anything, which I didn't want to do. So I'm doing it a little different than normal steeking as well, because normal steeking, I think you'd add like buttons. You'd pick up the stitches and then you'd add a bunch of knit, like a knit band to add buttons or a zipper or whatever. All right, going around. So it's definitely scrunching up, which is exactly what I want it to do, but it's still, as stretchy as the original, which is fabulous. So for the bind up, so okay, first of all, for length, I was thinking maybe just like once of like, here's the original band. I was thinking of just maybe once, but then I was wearing this sweater today and I tried this on again, and I really like how long this is. So I'm thinking of maybe going like twice the length of one of these. So like doot to doot. So I'm thinking maybe like this long, and then I can always like fold them back, and that would be kind of cute as well. So I'm thinking like double this length. So I don't know if we'll get that far tonight, but I'm thinking about this high. And you guys, I had to, so thanks so much. I posed the question of like, how do I bind this off? Like, what's my cast off or bind off for this? And I'm gonna go with the tubular bind off for a knit purl, one to one knit purl ribbing. So it was between this, and some of you guys said tubular bind off is great, or what was it? Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off was the other option. So I looked into both of those, and the Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, it just, the edge gave like a ripple effect edge. I mean, it was super stretchy, like it could stretch super wide, so it'd be good for like for socks that had to go over like calves, like large calves or something like that. But for this, it seemed I didn't want the waviness that edge left, and actually the tubular bind off with darning needles actually looks just, like a bigger version of this. It just looks like a continuation of the knits and purls, and it doesn't flare out or anything. So I'm like, okay, that's right, and it stretches the same amount as what your original ribbing does. So I think that seemed right for this project. So I'm gonna do, what was it called again? The tubular bind off. I had to write. So this is me writing myself instructions because I was watching a video on how to do it, but I'm like, oh my god, I'm not gonna remember this. It's a lot like the oh my god, now what's that word? The Kitchener stitch. Kitchener stitch. That's right. Sounds funny in my mouth. But it's very similar to that process, which I also have to write down while I'm doing to remember. But anyway, it seemed very similar to that, sort of. Like it has the same feeling. So different order of things, but the same sort of feeling as doing a Kitchener stitch with a darning needle. So I think that's my plan. But yeah, I did check them out, so thanks for the recommendations for sure, because I don't know. That's one of the things I don't know, I think maybe one of the reasons I don't feel as comfortable with knitting as other crafts is that there's so many, I don't know, right ways and wrong ways almost. And I guess, there's no real wrong way. You're still going to be able to finish it. But, if I just bind this off in the way that, I learned, forever ago, then it would just be really tight and wouldn't stretch at all. So I knew there was like other ways to do it. But I've done it before too, where it's like just too stretchy. So I didn't want to ruin it by doing the bind off wrong. So I looked at your guys' suggestions, and yeah, the tubular bind off just seemed perfect. I am doing continental style knitting, so I am actively practicing to do that, because I did not learn continental style. So as like my initial style. So continental style knitting is when you hold the thread or the yarn with your left hand here. So I'm holding the yarn with my left hand, and I'm kind of using the pad of my finger here as like a base. So I'm like stretching the stitch, and then I'm like digging into that pad and grabbing that thread behind. And for a purl, I just put the thread or the yarn in front. And what's great with continental with a purl is that like I just flip my finger down, and then it kind of grabs that needle there. I don't know if I'm demoing that very good, but yeah, it's just fast for ribbing, and it's just fast in general, especially if you're doing not in the round, if you're doing rows. It's really, really easy to just start and end a row. You don't have to like let go of the yarn or anything. The other way is throwing, and I'll do that on the other side here, and then I'll switch back to continental just because it makes me feel like I'm doing a magic trick by doing continental, because it's not the way I learned, and it always looked just like so good and cool when people are doing continental knitting. So in my head, I feel fancy I feel like I'm a magician when I'm doing continental stitching. So I like it. But here's the way I learned, which is throwing. It's called something else though too. Oh yeah, English style. That's it. So English style or throwing, and it's called throwing because of how it looks. So I'll do that now just so you guys can see a difference. Oh, Debbie, thanks so much. Debbie says, "You are so stinking creative. Thanks for all you do for us." Ugh, I appreciate that so much. And I just love, I'm getting the benefit of you guys. Like, I didn't know what I was doing with this project at all. And I learned about steeking, and I learned, like, these ways to cast on and bind off and all that. Oh, flicking. I think flicking. Oh, wait, no, that's a whole other way of doing it, isn't it, Katrina? Flicking. It's a lot faster than throwing. Oh, interesting. So I have heard of that, but as a different version of throwing and continental style, but I have to see it. I'll have to look that up, but that's right. That's a way to do it too. So here's throwing. So now I'm holding it with my right hand, and so I'm putting in my needle like knitwise, which means from left to right. And I'm taking the yarn in my right hand and I'm wrapping it around. So that's like me throwing. Foosh! That's like the act of throwing. And then I just go. And then for a purl, I have to first bring the yarn to the front and then go in purlwise, which is right to left, and then throw again. And there we go. And then I got to go back for the knit. So it's just, I don't know, it's just a little slower, but I'll do this with it. Once you get going and if it's your main way of doing it. So I have a funny little weird thing though. This is now a little uncomfortable for me because I realized I took like a little knitting class. I did like a embroidery demo somewhere at a knitting place, and then they were knitting after, so I'm like, oh, I'll knit. And then I realized I was doing purls wrong. So my whole life I was doing purls wrong. So I used to do purls. So here's how you're supposed to do purls. You put your needle in right to left, and then you go through the center, like through the center of your two needles and wrap around. So you're kind of wrapping around counterclockwise and bringing it through. So I got to do a knit, but then we'll get to another purl. How I was doing it was going in that way, but then I was wrapping it around like this. And little did I know that I was twisting all of my purls by doing that. So I was going around the front and then to the middle instead of up through the middle. So that going up through the middle is still pretty uncomfortable for me. Like, it feels awkward because that is so not how I started to do purls. And if I just kept going, I feel like I would do some the wrong way again. But anyway, I'm going to switch back to continental after this row because I'm sure my gauge, like how tight I hold everything, I'm sure is different for throwing than it is for continental. I should do a little test of that sometime. See what the difference is. But still, when I do like a complicated pattern, like if I was doing all these cables and stuff, I'd probably do it the throwing method, at least to start out, because that's still more comfortable for me for figuring out confusing things like, all the yarn overs or knitting two togethers and all that. I'm still more comfortable doing the throwing method for that. But I'm trying to get better at the fancy stuff with continental. I just haven't done it in a while. Oh, Sherry says my continental has definitely been tighter. Or your continental is definitely tighter. Yeah, I haven't thought about checking that before, but that'd be interesting. Oh, Stella says, zonks, I've been purling wrong this time too then. Oh, yes, so apparently, yeah, so I was doing it wrong, and what was funny is that, like, on certain things, like, I guess, like, stockinette stitch or something, like, I would knit one way, and I'd purl the other way, but I'd always have to, like, put my knit stitch in, like, weirdly, and it was because I had been twisting the pearls the whole time, so patterns like didn't make sense to me sometimes, because I'm like, well, my knit isn't facing that way, like I don't understand what they're saying, and it's because I've been doing the pearls wrong. So that was like a huge aha moment, like, oh my god, my world has changed. I've been doing this wrong for, I don't know, 20 years or whatever. How long have I been knitting? Well, first of all, I am not a consistent knitter. Let's just say that. So, I mean, how long I've been knitting, like when I started knitting, if you add up the amount of time, it is not the same as like someone who went super gung-ho like 3 years ago and has knit every day. So they're probably more competent by far than me. But I started knitting probably when I was around, I don't know, 10-ish maybe? I don't know, 12-ish? Maybe less. I remember I was at my friend's house, and her mom sort of taught me, and then my grandma knit a ton. Actually, she crocheted more, but she knit too. And I remember, so I made zillions of washcloths, which I love making, and with that sugar and cream yarn or whatever that's called, and I like my favorite thing to do, and this just sounds so relaxing thinking about it, and I should do this again. I would take the yarn, and I would take the end, and they lived on a farm, so I would take the end, I'd go outside, or I'd hold on to the end and then take the ball and throw the ball of yarn as far as I could, and then I would knit up to it. So I would keep knitting my washcloth slowly until I caught up to the ball of yarn, and that was so freaking fun. I would totally do that again. But now I'd put like some headphones on and just chill, and it'd be like a slow motion walk to the ball of yarn. So I was youngish to be doing that, like still being babysat. Like so we were at my grandma's house, grandma and grandpa's, because they were babysitting us, I think, once, and that's when I, like, for a weekend, and then I was just knitting a zillion washcloths that weekend. So young enough to need babysitters, I don't know. So whatever age that is. So at least 30 years ago. But again, just kind of on and off, and I feel like I've done like a lot as far as different concepts of knitting, but a lot of times I've only done it like once. Like if you've been here with me for a while, I finished up that what is that sheep pillow, and that was all full of baubles. That was the only time I've done baubles. I've done slip knits and knit two togethers and yarn overs and all that, but I have to study this. I still have a fear, or I don't have like a perfectly good like concept of like the right ways to increase and the right ways to decrease and the right ways to cast on and the right ways to cast off, and I forget how to do things, so I have to look it up each time. So I mean, I would I'd call myself like intermediate. Like I can do the stuff in a pattern, like I can read the pattern, look it up, and I know what they're talking about, and I can do it. But off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to list like all the different ways to bind off. Like here's the ways to do a stretchy bind off, or all that. Oh, Sherry says, I swear I have to do Googling all the time. Yeah, oh gosh, especially with knitting for sure. So that makes me feel, I don't know, maybe a little less confident, I guess, with it. This is McWilson. We are knitting, so this is knitting, not crochet. Although I do love me some crochet too. So knitting and crochet, historically, for me, have been I just need to chill and work on a project where I don't have to think and my brain can totally just be one with the counting. So that, like, where I can just be completely calm and don't have to make decisions and can just follow a pattern. So that to me is knitting and crochet. Although now I've discovered tatting, and that feels a little bit like that too. And actually, certain parts of quilting, like needle turn applique, surprisingly, is starting to feel like that a little bit too. I'm wondering if we should shift our stitches again just to not have like a little stretchy ladder going up here, but it's looking decent. I'm just gonna keep going. It's getting to the point where I gotta twist this sleeve the other direction. I'm getting kind of twisted up here. Ooh, Sherry says, nothing better than knitting and podcasts. Oh, that sounds awesome. Oh, you really want to learn how to tat? Your grandmother was the only one in the family who knew how. I do have a couple of videos just to get like the concepts of tatting on my TikTok page there. All you need, I mean, okay, so there's, for shuttle tatting, that's the only thing I have started to learn. I haven't learned how to do needle tatting yet, but for shuttle tatting, and really with needle tatting, all you really need to know how to do is a double stitch. There's only one stitch, and it's the double stitch. There's a teeny tiny variation here and there on that, but like not really. So just learning the double stitch, and there's a concept of flipping the loop. If you can get those two things, then you got it. You got the concepts. You got the huge hump that you got to get over. Theoretically, it's not a huge hump, but like once you get that seems like what people have trouble with, like doing the double stitch, particularly flipping the knot. But if you can get those two, flipping the loop, I mean, if you get those two things, I mean, you're gonna be able to do whatever you want with tatting for sure. After that, it all kind of makes sense. So I do have videos for those two things, and I'm hoping to do some more videos. I'm just learning, but I definitely like sharing as I go. Oh, weird. CS says I just got a pop-up about how I feel about my live, asking if it's positive, negative, or neutral. Oh, weird. Yeah, that's a TikTok thing. I don't plan any of that. Like, I don't know how to do, like, polls, or I don't know how to do any of that stuff yet on live. That's funny. TikTok wants to know how I'm doing here. I suppose I should check on how long this is at some point here. I do think I want to make it longer than I thought. Originally, I was thinking, oh, I'd go about the same length as this, and we're past that now. But now I think I want to go like a whole nother one. So I don't know. That's maybe about, I don't know, 6 rows yet? 6 or so? If I had to guess. 6 to 8. But that'd be cool if we could get to that yet tonight. What is it? It's about 9 now. Ooh, Kathleen says she's learning Tunisian crochet this year. So that's kind of where, I've not done that, but that's like where you have like a ton of stitches on the needle, and it almost looks like knitting, right? Like a seed stitch. Like it almost looks like this, doesn't it? I think it's something like that, right? I'll have to look that up. But I've been hearing that a lot lately. I'm thinking that's becoming super popular again. I'll have to look into that too. And that's actually the beauty of tatting. As far as I can tell, like I said, I'm a beginner, but as far as I can tell, it's so theoretically easy compared to knitting and crochet. Like there's so many, like I was saying earlier with knitting, like all the different types of ways to cast on, and if you drop your stitches or whatever, there's just so many things to I mean, you can start like super basic, obviously, but then there's a lot of things just to learn, and there's always more ways to do it. And same with crochet, like you got your single crochets, your double crochets, your trebles, your like, you know, just just all the different things in crochet. Skip two and then chain three or whatever. Uh, there's like none of that in tatting. It's like do 5 double stitches. There's only double stitches. So it's like do 5 double stitches, then do a picot, which is basically a double stitch with a gap, and then do 5 more double stitches, and then you basically like join to other circles. Like it's just there's not all this giant shenanigans to it like knitting and crochet. I mean, obviously you can get advanced and there's fancy stuff you can do, but not really. It's still stemmed in the basics if you compare it to the extensiveness of knitting and crochet, I think. So that was a little bit of a interesting surprise to me, I thought, when I was learning about tatting. And obviously I'm sure you can get like way detailed, but still, it's still a matter of kind of doing your double stitches and just counting how many you do and what do you join it to. And so that's kind of interesting, I thought. Oh, you're trying to learn crochet and your head hurts? I should do a little crochet demo. We've been doing like so many different crafts here lately, and it's just been really fun. You're trying to do the magic circle. Oh, but your brain just quits. Oh, okay, yeah, that'd be something we could go over for sure. That is an easy way of doing like a little center circle. For like a doily or a hat or something like that. All right. So I'm in the middle of the row here. So after we get back to the start, let's just take a look at where we're at with this. How much farther we think we should go. I've just been yammering and stitching. Good night, Robin. Oh, it took you a bunch of tries to just get it right. I just learned this. Keep trying. Yeah. Oh, for a crocheted jellyfish? That sounds cute. Sounds super duper cute. Pretty excited for this cast off for this, because I think it's gonna just look really clean and finished, actually, and not like a real cast off. It's just gonna look like my thread ended. Like, I think it's gonna look better than how this person cast it off. Let's see, where's the other sleeve here. Ooh, let's just get my needle here first. But yeah, so how they cast it off. Actually, this might be a lot like how mine's gonna look. Yeah, I don't see the individual stitches. So it actually will probably look a little bit like this. But it should look like a knit here almost. Yeah, anyway. I'm excited to do that because I haven't done that method of casting off before, or binding off. Same difference, I guess. All right, let's just take a look at this. So I wanted it. We're gonna get a little smaller there. That's gonna be cute. So it's gonna fit over my wrist well, because it'll just kind of keep getting smaller here, and that's just because I'm using smaller yarn, I think, more than anything. So that's fine. I got my ruler here. I'm just curious where we're at. So I'm going to call this like 2 inches. It's just maybe shy of that, but I'm going to call it 2 inches. So theoretically, I kind of want this maybe 4 inches. So we got 1.5 inches to go yet. That's pretty long though, 4 inches. I guess I was thinking that I could fold it backwards a little bit. Okay, maybe I'm going to go to 3 inches. So let's go to 3 inches and maybe I'll try it on just to see if maybe 3 inches is long enough. Because that seems like a pretty good sized cuff. So 3 inches doesn't seem like I'd like fold it back on itself like this anymore. I could fold it all the way back to here, but I wouldn't like fold it back to here. So this might just... Once we get to 3 inches, I'll try it on, because I do kind of want it to be like this sweater, but maybe not quite as long as this. This is like, I got extra long sleeves. So let's do, I mean, I haven't really been counting, so let's just go for a little longer, and we'll see. I'll stop around 3-ish, or whenever we remember to check again, and if it's close to 3 inches, and I'll try this on. And that's a nice thing about this magic loop, or wait, is that what it's called? Magic loop way of knitting too, is I don't feel like I'm going to lose my needles when if I'm going to try on the cuff here versus double pointed needles. That would scare me. Oh, you love the fingernail color? Thanks. Had to redo it again this before coming on here. They just do not hold together for more than like 2.5 days, I'd say. I think this continental knitting though is 100% making this go way faster than normal for me, I think. Got a little warm up yesterday. It's been a while for me for knitting. Oh, you were skeptical about the magic loop until recently. Still love the double point needles. Oh, but the magic loop is pretty useful. Yeah, double pointed needle. I was thinking when I was doing this earlier, like yesterday, I feel like I'm quicker today, so I needed a little warm up, but the changing over from one side of the needles to the other side, I feel like was kind of taking forever yesterday, and I was thinking, God, maybe the double pointed needles would be better, but this today it hasn't been as much of an issue, I don't think. And if I was knitting something bigger, like a hat or whatever, this would have been great. Although if I was doing a hat, I'd probably have a size that was good enough where I wouldn't need do double pointed needles for the whole thing. I don't know. I try and avoid them when I can. I'm not good at like not keeping those little ladders going in the middle of stitches, and now I got this interchangeable needle set, and I've been trying to just use that often. They're not triangular knitting needles, they're square, so they have, it's like, it has 4 flat edges, so theoretically, and I don't know about this, I don't knit enough to like test this, but theoretically, your finger can be, if you get good at it, like on the flat surface of it. So theoretically, that's less pressure than if you're on a round needle where you got like just one point of contact. Now you got a whole flat surface. So if you get like numbness or stuff from knitting a long time, these are supposed to help with that. Yeah, this was kind of these, if I remember, were not cheap. It was definitely a splurge, but it was also an attempt at like, now I can kind of have what I need, because I swear every single project I started, I'd have to go buy needles because I need the right size with the right size cable and all that. So this came on sale from like one of these websites that like have a bunch of weird products, and switch them out like they're available for like a couple weeks or something. So I got them from there a couple of years ago, and I love them so far in the fact that it comes in a tiny case that isn't super like girly. Like it's not purple or pink, because that's the only thing girls could possibly like is purple and pink. It comes in just like a nice blue case like this. It has all my needles and everything in there, and it has on the other side it has like the larger needles. It has different size cables, and it's small. Like sometimes these cases are really big, so this is like all of my knitting stuff theoretically. There's a scissors in here too, needle markers. So versus my whole bag of knitting stuff that's just an unorganized mess. So that's kind of what I love about it. I'm still, getting used to them, and every once in a while you're probably gonna need that other thing. So I haven't gotten rid of all that other stuff yet, but it's not. I don't use any of that stuff primarily anymore, and I'd like to maybe ultimately donate them and just try and have only these, and I don't know. Haven't done that yet. Okay, let's do another row. If we don't get to this cast off tonight, like I'm going to try this on, and if it still needs more length, we'll do more. But if we don't get to the cast off tonight, we will 100% get to it tomorrow. Again, I'm going to do the tubular bind off for a 1-to-1 knit purl ribbing. I looked into that, and that Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. Those are the two main recommendations from people. So I checked out both of those, and I'm going with the tubular bind off. I think it's just going to be a nice, clean, simple bind off for this cuff. All right, I need more yarn. Oh, you can't get, Rockin' Robin says, I can't get the hang of knitting. I used to knit. It's definitely, I think it takes a lot more practice than, and like learning than like tatting does it. And crochet, like I just feel like crochet's a little easier to learn. And you're only dealing with like that one loop. Anne says, I love double pointed needles. DPNs. Oh, Kathleen says, you went to circular needles because I kept dropping the straight needles and losing them down my chair. Oh no! That's a perfectly good reason to use double pointed needles. Yep, that'd be a bummer having to search for your needles all the time. I'm going to do one more row after this, and then we'll measure again. Ooh, I need to be a little tighter on here. I feel like I may be making smaller and smaller stitches, but that's okay in this case, because it's okay if the cuff gets tighter and tighter at the end. That's actually probably ideal. Oh, your chair eats everything. I did just do a huge clean of the living room and sucked out everything that was sitting in the couch, so that was kind of gross. Should definitely do that more often. Didn't find anything exciting like knitting needles, though. Alright, one more round and we'll see where we're at. We'll measure again, see if we're closer to 3 inches. I might be getting greedy. I haven't knit that much since measuring last, but we'll check anyway, and maybe I'll try it on and we'll just see where we're at. Move you on over. I think this red is just so cute. I mentioned maybe, like it really kind of makes it look like a Letterman sweater, kind of like, like John Travolta wears in Grease sort of thing, like a 60s or 50s Letterman sweater, not the jacket, but where you have like the big button-down cardigan, but still has these kind of fun cuffs with your school colors and everything. It kind of reminds me of that, and that made me want to put like a little bit of ribbing on the collar, just like 2 rows or something to give a little color there, but I don't know if I'll go ahead and do that. We'll see. Right now I'm focused on these cuffs. If I can get these cuffs somewhere, that'd be nice. Alright, so this little side here, and we will measure. Thanks for all the hearts and likes and all the yummies, everyone. That's very nice. And as always, it's just so wonderful chatting with you guys every night here. I've learned so much from everyone on this project for sure. And I've gotten to get all sorts of crafting tools out to work on this too, so it's just been relaxing and exciting and fun for me. I haven't knit for ages, and this just feels great. Oh, you like the pattern on the sweater as well? Oh gosh, yeah, this sweater has so much going on with it. I would love to at some point knit a sweater like this. I think that would be just so cool. So that's on my list of projects sometime. Do a fun sweater. I've never knit a sweater before. Oh hey, that was estimated pretty well. That's about 3 inches there. Heh. Maybe we were at 3 inches. I guessed right. All right, I'm going to try this on very quickly, so I'm just going to throw it around me, so just bear with me for a sec. I took my other sweater off, and then I'll show you where it's at. So give me a sec here. Just get adjusted. Alright, so, I can already feel like I maybe wanted a, well, actually, hold on. I'll show you in a sec. I'm just trying to adjust my shirt and everything so it's pulled down enough. Hey, this is not that bad. This is pretty good. Okay, so now if I stretch out, it gets a little shorter. Hold on. I'm just wearing it normally. I'm trying to just be normal, right? Okay, I'd say we're about like right here. So here's it compared to how it used to be, right? This was just too short. But this is feeling decent. Let's see, do I want to do 1 or 2 more? I can't decide. So if it's up a little bit like this, like if it's here, I feel like I want maybe 1 or maybe 2's like too much. I don't want to do too much either because I don't want it looking weird. So I almost think any longer than this, it'll look like just an odd size cuff. Oh, it fits so nicely though. It just like squeezes in right here. It's just perfect. I think I'm going to do 1 more row and then we'll do our cast off. Yay, then I'll still get to do the cast off tonight. That'll be great. So, all right. I'm going to, gosh, I wonder if I should count the rows. I think I'm going to just go on measurement. You know what? I'm not going to worry about counting the rows because I can always count it once this side gets closer. But look how cute it is. It's so cute. All right, taking it off again. I'm going to do one more row. Benny says one more row. Currently Celeste says two more rows. So the other thing is the bind off. This particular bind off is not like where you knit an extra row and bind off at the same time, so we won't be adding any more length with the bind off, this particular cast off. Gosh, maybe I do want two more rows. One row isn't very big here. I think we're going to go two more. Oh, my live has taken over your phone? Okay. Alright, so I pushed out. So I haven't tucked in this thread yet. I've just been kind of tucking in here. Oh, you can hear two of me. Oh, man, and there's a delay? Huh, I still have a bunch of batteries yet. Try maybe coming out and coming back in. Last night I ran out of batteries, and that's, I know it freaked out last night, and I think that's why. But I should be good to go here. Okay, so two more rows. So I gotta pay attention because I get yammering and then I forget where I'm at. So if I go more than two rows, or if I am just done one and I'm wondering, just start yelling at me. But I think we'll all be able to do it. Okay, we're doing two more rows, and then we're gonna do this cast off, and I'm just gonna stay here until that cast off is done because I might actually wear this tomorrow with one short cuff, and then we'll start knitting the second cuff tomorrow. So we'll pick up the stitches like how we did yesterday, and yeah, just start stitching. But based on how long it's taking today and yesterday, I think we'll need an extra day on it. I might just do that so I have the sweater, but we'll see. Not positive on that yet. And I'm a little nervous to do this bind off, but I wrote down the instructions and we'll see how it goes. I don't have the video in front of me or anything, so. Oh no, your screen recording's on loop. Oh no. Oh, that's what you mean, that it's taking over your phone. Oh god. Oh, you're packing, traveling tonight, Sylvia. Alright, so this is row one. I just had to remind myself out loud. This is row one, and then I'm going to do one more after this one. Yeah. Ooh, and then I'm going to try a new tool that I grabbed from Joann's. I went to Joann's this weekend to buy the grosgrain ribbon for the inside of the sweater here, and you get to wandering because you're at Joann's, and I saw these darning needles that I had never seen before, so I was curious about them, but they almost have a latch hook end, so you can just kind of grab whatever yarn or whatever really easily. So I thought I'd give those a try. I'm wary of them catching thread everywhere, but I don't know. Thought that'd be kind of fun to see what they're all about. So that will be we'll give that a try after this last row. Yay, last row. Yep, this is my mom's sweater. Yep, JW. This is my mom's sweater that I'm cardiganing. That's a perfect word. I'm cardiganing my mom's sweater. This is the sweater that she had this in high school. I'm really excited about these cuffs, though. I think this is just gonna, when I tried this on, I immediately started pulling at the sleeves because they just felt short. So I'm excited to extend them with these cuffs. Alright, getting there. I think I need more yarn again. Gosh, I feel like I've hardly used any of this yarn though. But we're pulling from the center, so maybe it's a little deceiving. Oh yeah, we're getting pretty airy in this ball of yarn here, so we'll see where we're at with the other cuff. I think there's plenty there though for the other cuff. We'll see. That'd be awesome if I make it through another ball of yarn. That's one less thing that I have to store. All right, this is our last kind of half here, and then it is time. Okay, get this guy up here. Time for the bind off. Oh, I will definitely show my mom when I'm done with this. I mean, I wore this all day yesterday. This is definitely going to be my go-to wear around the house sweater. It just gets chilly here and there, so I like having these little cardigans to just throw on and take off easily and put on the backs of chairs so I can just grab them willy-nilly when I need them. But yeah, I wore this yesterday, and oh wait, not yesterday, 2 days ago, before we started. No, yesterday. Yesterday during the day before we started the cuff, and it's just so squishy and comfy. It's perfect for this time of year. I think we're supposed to get like 5 inches of snow tomorrow, so I hear, so I don't know. May have to wear it out in the snow tomorrow. Alright, we added our 2 extra rows. Let's give this bind off a try. I'm scared. Okay. This looks like a great size. So it did end up actually kind of being like almost twice, just shy of twice the length of the original cuff. So I don't know. I think it's good. So all right, my written instructions. This is so just so you know, and this is my horrible handwriting too. So I'm going to be doing the tubular bind off. It's a 1-to-1, so knit purl ribbing. That's how we've been doing a knit purl. That's like the 1-1 knit purl. So I got this off of the YouTube of Stitches and Scraps. So if you look for the tubular bind off, 1-to-1 knit purl ribbing, Stitches and Scraps, you'll find the video for this. I just kind of wrote down what she said in the video. I'm using a 100% wool yarn. This is like Patton's classic wool. Okay. All right. So I think I need to bring this guy back here for a little. So let's start out with instructions. Okay, cut the tail 4 times the circumference. So the circumference is about like there or so. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm gonna pull like a pile extra because it's scary. All right. Oh, and I got my matching scissors for this too, which is fun. We're all red, except I didn't have any red nail polish, otherwise I would have put that on too. All right, we are cut. Now what? Let's try this out. This is that tapestry needle, or darning needle, I guess. So, I don't know. With that weird little latch hook thing. So I'm curious about this. You definitely don't need this for sure. And I'll probably, if it's weird, I'll switch back to my just normal needle. But it was a widget that looked fun. when I was at Joann's over the weekend, so I'm giving it a try. I'd never seen one before, so like, I need one of those. This one doesn't even like work. Okay, hold on. Let's try this one. Oh, the name of the knitting needles. They are what are they called again? Collage. So collage with a K. So KOLLAGE. Square interchangeable needles. Oh, there we go. So there, that flipped down, and now we should just be able to grab the thread versus like actually threading it, which is kind of silly. But if you had a really fat piece of yarn or something that you needed to get in here, then I suppose this would make it easier. There we go, and then we just kind of close it. All right, I don't know. I'm wary about that just catching on everything as I go, but we'll see. We're giving it a try. All right, back to my instructions. I'm going to set those right here. Make sure the knit stitch is first. Yep, we got a knit stitch first. So this person did an extra little step. So I'm gonna do that as well. I know, can't really leave Joann's without buying extra stuff. I know, that's for sure. I did buy a couple little extra nuggets. So I got these, and I'll do a Joann's haul video tomorrow of I didn't get much, but I got a couple extra weird things. Okay, the knits first, so that's good. Now here's the setup. So, oh god, I already don't know what I wrote. I wrote tap needle. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? It means tapestry needle. Okay, so oh, see, this is already kind of piercing through the thread. That's what I was worried about. That this is just going to pierce my yarn. Yeah, and get all mixed up. But I'm still going to try it. Okay, so with my tapestry needle, knitwise, so that means right to left. So knitwise, so I just, this is kind of like a Kitchener stitch. So I'm going knitwise into the first stitch here. And normally I would just like take that off, but this person actually put the first two stitches on her other needle. So I'm just going to get this needle kind of down here. So she almost did like the first two again when she was done. So, all right, did that. So I'm going to actually take this stitch off. I guess we'll use the needle. Take that off, and I'm going to put it on the other needle there for storage. Okay, so that's the first part. So we have like this little setup stage, and then it gets easy. And you know what? I'm going to actually take my marker off, so I'm going to remove this stitch temporarily there, just so I can get that marker out of here. There we go, and get that guy back on. Okay, now we're ready. Okay, so now I skip the purl one. So this is the purl one, and then I go to this one, the next one. So I insert purlwise. So now that's right to left into the next stitch. Okay, so just like so. Again, we're doing the tubular bind off here. All right, and now I go back to the purl one, which is the one before, insert purlwise. So again, right to left. And now this is where I would typically move it off of my hook, but I'm gonna store this one on the other needle. And that's like the setup is putting these two stitches on the other needle. Okay, and now I don't think I need to deal with this needle anymore. Yep, the back needle can get out of the way now. I made a note of that. Good. So now we're just dealing with this. So now go back to the I did that already. Okay, so now slip. Oh, skip the knit. So now I'm skipping the knit one, and I'm going. I gotta read the hardest part here is leaving my instructions. So is reading my instructions. So all right, so skip the knit, Oh, and now this is where I come out from the back here. I come from the back side. And now I insert knitwise into the purl. Do I go out the back though now again? I'm not sure. Let's just do it up front for now. Okay. There we are. All right. So now that's sort of the process. So now let's do it again. So now I go knitwise, but this time I just pull this whole thing off. Okay. That's our first real stitch being off. Okay, skip the purl, insert purlwise. So this is where I have to remember, like, knitwise, purlwise, purlwise, knitwise. So knitwise, this is purlwise into the knit stitch. We'll get the groove of this in a sec, I'm thinking. And you want to keep the same tension as kind of basically what your stitches are. So purlwise, then go back to here and do this one purlwise, but now I can take it off. Okay. And then I'm going around the back and going knitwise again here. Okay. I think I got it now. So knit, purl, purl, knit. All right, you guys. I think we have it. But here we go. This is what it's going to end up like. Just sort of like a continuation of the stitches here. So knitwise and off. Then purlwise over here. Purlwise off. So we're dropping that stitch, and then from the back, and knitwise. All right, there we go. I think I got it. So we're going to stay a little bit longer till I finish, as I know we're over for sure, but I want to get this bind off. So knitwise and off, purlwise. We're skipping that one in purlwise. Then we're going purlwise and off. And then coming from the back and knitwise. All right, got it. I have to say it out loud so I can do it. All right, knit and off, and I think I can do the purl. Wait, knitwise, purlwise. I think I can go do the purl at the same time. There we are. Purlwise and off. And then around the back and knitwise. All right, and I think I need to pull on this more. Oh, good, it is working. Oh, it's kind of getting stuck there. All right, it's looking good. We got a stretchy edge here. Okay, next round. Knitwise and off, and then a purl. Purlwise. Then purlwise and off. Woo! Sorry. Purlwise and off, and then around back. Cool. So theoretically, we're making like that purl look right here by wrapping it around. So that's kind of fun. All right, knit-wise and purl-wise. Oh, you're learning to knit by watching. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we are doing a tubular bind off right now, which I learned about an hour ago. And I wrote down instructions for myself. And that's what we're doing now. Okay, purl-wise, and then I come through the back. So binding off means I'm taking it off the needles and getting like my finished edge here. And there's tons of different ways to do it. This one is specifically for rib, where you go like where it goes like up and down, one after the other. So that's like a knit and a purl and a knit and a purl. Okay, knit and purl-wise. So yeah, we're just doing this tubular, very specific tubular bind off. I just watched a pile of YouTube videos before coming on. Purl-wise and off, and then around back again. And knit-wise. Okay, so we got one side done. We kind of get to get the rest of our stitches gathered here, though. Yeah, I wonder how I think the tension of this is decent. I think we're doing okay. Sylvia says I'd be lost. Yeah, I was just thinking like right before I read your comment, I'm like, dang, this is one of those things I would have to look up every single time I do it, because this is just a lot. The same with Kitchener's stitch, which is similar. I have to look that up every single time as well. Oh, you love the colors? I am loving this pop of red too. This is my mom's old sweater that we turned into a cardigan, and I am adding to the length of the cuffs. All right, knit, purl, then purl, and around back. And knit-wise. So it's like a 4-step little process here that we're just repeating a bunch of times. All right, now we're starting again. Knit, purl, and then purl around back. I'm getting the hang of it now. You get the hang of one of these things, and then you're done. So you gotta wait till a whole nother project is happening to like relearn it again. Okay, knit, purl. Amy says, glad I went with a size 8 needle instead of 7. Yeah, I am too, and I probably wouldn't have, except for I had that bigger, or the yarn was smaller than the yarn in the sweater, so we're kind of making up for that. So it was either that or the other idea I was thinking is like, oh, I could knit with two strands, but I'm glad I didn't, because that would have been like really big, and I like that this tapers down to being small. So I think this turned out just right. Okay, knit, purl. I gotta say it out loud every time. That's the only way it's happening. And then purl and around back. And knit. Okay. And it could go out of my brain at any second. Knit, purl. Like I'll definitely have to, for the second cuff, I'm gonna have to look this all up again. That's why I wrote down the instructions. Purl around back. But hey, this needle's working, so that's kind of fun. Oh, and knit. Okay, we're getting there. Knit. Purl. Purl around back. And knit. Alright. We're taking like 2 off every time we do these 4 little motions. Knit, purl. Purl, and around back. Knit, purl. I literally do have to say it each time. Sylvia says, keep my notes. Yeah, for sure. Knit, purl, purl, back, and knit. So this is actually the last stitch we just did because these are the 2 that we carried over before. So theoretically we can, so this is the next, this is the last one right here, and then we can just slip these 2 off because we already have them done apparently. So we do the knit. Ugh, I'm losing my needle. Knit, purl, yeah, and then purl. I think we still maybe go around back here. I don't think we really had to do that part. So now we just pull these last 2 stitches off. Ooh, scary. But we did those 2 at the beginning and carried them over to the back. So that's it, really. So we'll tuck in the ends, which there's a certain way to do that. I looked up how to tuck ends in on a rib like this. So let's just do that quick, just because I want to use this. And I'll do the other side as well. But, so I think to do this, I'm going to stitch it into this rib here. So the way to do this is, so there's a special way to put these stitches in so that it still stretches and is nice with the rib, and it's by going around like a bunch of stitches of the one side of this ribbing. I'll just go like 6 times. Oops. Got a little stuck there. And this is wool too, so it should kind of felt on itself a little bit. And now I think we go around the back of the next stitch. There we go, like so. I need more slack here. And then we come up the other side in the same way, so like so. So around and around and around and around and around, and I don't think I'll go all the way back up just so my thread is cut off like on the inside here. But that's how you theoretically weave in for ribbing, because it still stretches like a ribbing does, and you shouldn't be able to see it from the front. So I can just snip that off, and let me do the other side right away, and then we'll call it a night. Then I have a fully finished cuff. So let me just get on the inside here, do this one right away as well. I don't know, I just think it's easier to just thread this silly needle, so I don't know. I don't know if these are really all that valuable with the little latch hook, but they might come in handy for some specific reason at some point. All right, let's go up this side. Three, 4, 5, 6. Sounds good. And then underneath the next one, I gotta say all this out loud too, since I haven't done this before. And then wrapping it around these guys. 2, 3. Come on. 4, 5, 6. Alrighty. There. Both tucked in. Alright, and we can just like fold over the edge too if we wanted to, which is kind of cute. But I do like these long edges. So we could probably block this just to clean up that edge a little bit more. But I like that it's not, I mean, it looks a little bit bloopy now. I think I could work on my tension, but I think on it's going to be just right. So there we go. We got our little cuff. It's so sweet. I think that's just really fun. Oh, Benny says, I'm so bad about tucking my ends, I just hide them on the inside. I just never know where to weave. Like, I never know where to weave in the end, so I actually looked it up this time, and they're like, for ribbing, you just do that windy thing. I'm like, oh, that worked. That's gonna be super good. So I'll probably do that like that from now on. But yay! All right, you guys, that is it for tonight. I am really happy with how that turned out. Yeah, so I'll just have to keep a ruler nearby for when we do the other side. So I think we were kind of at 3, and then maybe we did get like another... Oh, wait, no, we were at 3, and then I added 2 rows, so that makes sense. So we ended up at like 3 1/4, and like I said, I don't think the bind-off, this particular bind-off, really added a whole lot to it. So, all right. I will most likely wear this all day tomorrow and just be dealing with one too short cuff. So, and then tomorrow we will start up the next cuff here. I think that's going to be great. All right, so thank you guys again so much. I'm really, really, really happy with how this little guy turned out. I'll try it on again tomorrow too, just to see how it works. And yeah, so tomorrow, same thing. We will be working on cuff number 2. We did talk about potentially adding a couple lines of rows of stitches to the collar and also sticking in some pockets. But I think for now, I'm going to be sticking with getting these 2 cuffs done, and I think we'll be good at that point. And we'll see. We'll see for the rest. Can always add more to this, I suppose. So, all right, thank you guys so much again. I will see you tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Have a lovely evening. Good night.